All right, so my two-part approach on that show was the weedless frog, throwing it on the mats or around the isolated pieces of vegetation to draw up the active fish. When they miss the frog, then I go back with the next rod and catch them with that one. If you just start pitching first to try to locate them, you've got to get very close to the mats. There's a lot of mats and you got to end up moving around in a bunch of shallow water to see how to catch them. It's better to have the frog because it gives me range. Then I can find out which mats have fish in them, although they're very difficult to hook because the vegetation's so thick they don't get a clean bite on the frog. 3 times over the course of about an hour, maybe not even an hour, this particular frog, this exact frog got blown up, but the fish didn't get it. In all 3 of those instances, that fish paid a visit to the boat very shortly thereafter with my flipping stick. This particular rod's 7'3". It's a medium heavy rod. It's a fast action. It throws anywhere from a 1/4 ounce to an ounce. I've got 65-pound X5 braid on here and an Abu Garcia Revo ALF reel. This ALF reel is a bomb-proof reel, largely metallic construction on the whole thing, casts like a dream. Really good reel and an 8-to-1 gear ratio, so it gets tight on fish in a hurry. This is my day in and day out frog rod setup. I leave it rigged like this all the time. The only thing that basically changes is the frog occasionally, and even that doesn't change a whole lot for me. The braided line's very, very strong, tensile strength-wise, ton of abrasion resistance, the whole 9 yards. This is a great rod for catching fish. We caught fish around the isolated little patches of pondweed, as well as the big, thick mats. The ones around the isolated patches stayed pinned on the frogs because they got a clean bite on it. They could see it on the surface, they could get a clean bite on it. The ones on the mats themselves, I don't think any of those fish stayed pinned because they'd blow the frog out of the water and not get it. Right in the middle of the thick patch. Camera guy wants me to throw it right in the middle of the thick patch. We're gonna throw it in the thick patch. And there ain't very many lures you can throw in there. Nope, missed him. Good call, the camera guy though. There you go. We always yield to the ducks. Oh, he's there.
Oh, dude.
Having said that, I'm not one to let a fish get away if I know he's there. So these days, if I'm going back to catch that same fish, this is the rod I'm doing it with. And it's actually similar to the frog rod in a lot of ways, but this is a 7'9" heavy power, moderate fast action rod. It's moderate fast because it's made for point blank range fishing with braided line on it. It's got a heavy tungsten sinker. That sinker is going to drop down through the weight. When I say heavy, it's 3/4 of an ounce. It's going to go down through that mat right now. It's got a 4/0 Fusion 19 flipping hook on it and a Pit Boss on it, Berkeley Pit Boss. This is totally weedless with the heavy braid, the big giant beefy pitching rod, and the Revo Rocket, which is a 10-to-1 gear ratio, takes in line in a hurry. This is my cleanup rod. So when they blow up the frog and they don't get it, now they're looking to eat. They're hungry. They saw the frog. They want to eat. This thing lands in there as quick as possible behind it, and you're going to get them to clean up. On that particular day, I was throwing actually a big swim jig. I was throwing a swim jig like this, but heavier, or actually a heavy cover jig, not a swim jig, is what I was actually throwing on that particular day. You could go back and forth either one, and I can pretty much assure you that that Pit Boss, which I have more confidence in, would have probably been a better choice. But I had the jig with the big weed guard tied on. I grabbed it on a whim and it went and made it work. So at the end of the day, the Texas rig or the big heavy cover jig will work fine. It's a matter about getting it back as quick as you can to where that fish swung at the frog, and then you'll have a chance of getting them to bite. And like I said, 3 times that day, those fish visited the boat because they made the mistake of biting my follow-up bait. Oh, he's there.
Oh, dude. You know a saying that goes, a missed fish on a frog is worth 2 in the hand?
Yeah, something like that. We're fixing to put that one in the hand. We saw him. We know where he's at. And he was an ambitious little sucker. He's right there somewhere. Got him. Come out of there. Come out of there. That's why you have the big stick and the rope. Come on, he's still on there, but now it's me and him. Okay, pick the poles up, we'll go to him. He ain't even that big of a fish, I don't think, but he's on there. There we go. Come out of there. If you guys want to know why we use 65-pound braid, now you know. It's actually a decent fish. Come here, fish. He's gonna come around right here. I'm gonna swing him, the cabbage, the whole 9 yards up in the boat. Got you, sucker. There's my big old Berkeley power chunk right there, guys. You want a close-up of the power chunk. Sapphire blue, you can see that because look at the light, look at the color of the water. And look at that, guys, right there. It's what I'm talking about. That's a nice one. That's a fat, I mean, for Boyd Lake here, that's a real nice fish. Boyd Lake State Park representing.